Hello and welcome to John Esser Sports Channel, where you get everything Championship, League One and running. And today it's League One Game Week 9. And we're going in with our predictions. If you want to look at Game Week 8's review, then please do. I did that this morning. You can have a look at it on YouTube and see what you think. Not too bad a set of results there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 correct results. Which is actually quite a decent one. I wish we'd have got a one correct score, but we were always like one goal out, which is really annoying. However, you lot got 1 or 2 correct draws on your comments, so that was well done. Those people have a gold star for that. We're going to carry on. We're going to continue with the first one in line for Tuesday's games, which is Barnsley versus Wycombe. Now, Barnsley, again, they lost it late in the second half, and you're thinking, how often do they have to lose it right at the beginning or right at the end? They are worrying me how they do this, and it is getting annoying, and it's getting annoying for Barnsley fans as well. I've actually had a couple on here, and yeah, they're getting annoyed with the fact that they have this tendency to throw it away in the last minute. And they're playing a Wycombe side who have improved, and they've improved quite a lot, and it's very impressive. They I know it's Bristol Street Motors, but they won Brighton and Hove Albion under 21s 5-3. Now that's no mean feat, because Brighton actually concentrate quite heavily on their youth squad. So I'm quite impressed by that. Yeah, they did really well, and I think they are an improving side, whereas Barnsley are just stuttering at the minute, and they were getting results that they didn't expect. They're doing well. They're in 6th. Wycombe are in 7th. A lot of you saying 2-0, 1-0, 2-1, 2-0. Yeah, a lot of you going for all you going for Barnsley. I think one person says a draw, 1-1. I'm going to go with most of you. I'm going to go with Barnsley 2, Wycombe 1. However, I think you could very well easily see a 1-1 draw here. I could easily see Barnsley going into the lead, and then in the second half, late on, Wycombe pull back for a 1-1. But we'll go with a 2-1 win to Barnsley. And we'll go into the next one now. And again, it's this is the team that we're always saying, well, they're going to win. So how many are they going to win by, guys? So we're talking Barnsley versus Huddersfield. And Barnsley last year did very, very well in the Championship against Huddersfield. So I think it was about 4-0 then, wasn't it? 4-1. So I think it could be a repeat from last year. What are you saying? You're saying 3-1, 3-1s, 3-0s, 2-0s. The trouble is that apart from last weekend, Peterborough beating Peterborough at home 3-2 when they were 2-0 down, they've had it easy all the time. There is a point here. I'm gonna, before I give what my prediction is, if Huddersfield can analyse where Peterborough went right and try and emulate that all the way through the game, there's a chance that they can break this winning streak all the way through all the 46 games. If anybody can do that, I would say it would be Huddersfield, because you need that sort of Championship background to be able to a Championship tactical thought. And if anybody's got that, it's Huddersfield. That said, I think, the only other side I think could do it would be Blackpool, because obviously the new manager there's got an excellent tactical mind. So for this game, I'm going to go with most people, but I'm going to go on the high side. I'm going to go Birmingham 4, Huddersfield 0. But if they can analyse these statistics from last weekend, because I think that has to be something to be worked on, doesn't it? Then perhaps they can completely turn this around and sort of sneak a 1-0 win. But I doubt it. Blackpool versus Lincoln next, and Blackpool, who obviously, what do you say? New manager bounce is going to continue for quite a while, I think, isn't it? A Charlton win, a Huddersfield win, a Burton win. 2, 4, 6, 7 goals in 3 games, and they are flying. It's Blackpool in 4th versus Lincoln in 3rd. Lincoln have been pretty much excellent at the beginning, and then they've sort of petered off a bit. A 1-1 draw away at Peterborough, a 0-0 draw at Wigan, and actually that didn't seem like ever becoming not 0-0 from when I was doing the watch along. So it didn't look a great game. Cambridge 2-0 win, but it's Cambridge at the bottom. Should they have won by more than 2-0? Quite likely. So for that reason, I'm thinking that Lincoln have just started to take the foot off the gas, and they need to get that impetus back into it. Will they do it here? I don't think so. You're saying 2-0, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0. I'm going to go with most of you, and I think you're probably right. I'm going to go Blackpool 2, Lincoln 0. Bristol Rovers versus Charlton next, and Charlton have been, I say have been, very clinical until recently. And, I wouldn't have thought that they would have lost away at Stevenage. I really wouldn't. But Stevenage are very, very good at home. We can allow them that. And then they managed to hit the Blackpool new manager bounce, didn't they? And 2-1 defeat at home. But I think it's just not been as clinically perfect as when they played Rotherham. When they played Rotherham, a 1-1 draw at home to Rotherham, they were as clinical as ever. They were really, really smart, and it just doesn't seem to have been the same Charlton side since. So, and one of the things I've noticed about Bristol Rovers is this idea of putting of Taylor putting the blockade up at the back and just not letting them score. Then hopefully you score on the break. A couple of games ago, wasn't it? A couple of games ago, that must have been. Bristol Rovers, where would that be? That would be Peterborough. They lost, but I was noting that when they were playing, they played the first half just like that, brick wall up at the back and stopped them from attacking and scoring. But up front, half time they changed it and they started playing the ball down the wing, and they played really well, and I was quite impressed by it. So I'm thinking now that Bristol might have a chance, and some of you are thinking the same. I've got 2-1s in either direction. I've got Bristol Rovers winning 2-1. I've got Charlton winning 2-1. I've got Charlton winning 1-0. It's very difficult. I think for me, the clinical side of Charlton will come back, and they will start to click together again, because they have already done so. It's just they seem to have got a bit of a lazy period, if you can have a lazy period. Bristol Rovers in 21st, Charlton in 8th. I have to go with Charlton, I think. I'm going to go Bristol Rovers 0, Charlton 1. Cambridge versus Rotherham next, and I've seen 2-0 to Rotherham, 2-0 to Rotherham, 2-1 to Rotherham, a 1-1. We can't. We've not been playing any particular style, and I was it Talk Sport said we're on about us the other day. Said we got bored with it because Rotherham didn't have any style. They had no plan. They didn't seem to have a plan. And if they did have a plan, they changed it at half time and came out completely different. But it was still rubbish. they're playing a Cambridge side that are at the bottom of 29th to 24th against 19th. But I've seen a lot of good comments about Cambridge, and I've said for several weeks now, said they actually aren't playing that bad. I don't think they're playing bad football at all. What do we say? Yeah, so I'm gonna play my joker here because I don't think Rotherham can score. But looking at who, I mean, so who have Cambridge had? Lost to Lincoln, lost to Wickham, lost to can't count that. Lost to Mansfield, lost to Bristol Rovers. Rotherham pretty much similar. Draw to Shrewsbury, lost to Birmingham, draw to Burton, draw to Charlton, won to Huddersfield, and then it's just not a loss to Exeter. So we're not really. There's not much difference between these two sides. They're not a great deal of goals, not a great deal of quality. I'm gonna go Cambridge 0, Rotherham 0. So we go to Crawley versus Mansfield next, and Mansfield is my team to watch, of course. As per my team to watch video, please watch now, like and subscribe, share. How about that? We don't usually say that. Crawley versus Mansfield. Crawley started playing really well at the beginning. Where's it gone? The only semi-decent game they had was a 1-1 draw, I think, against Stockport, and the rest of it's been pretty. Well, they played okay last week against Bolton. I thought that a 2-0 home defeat to Bolton, when he had to try and get something and had to try and turn the season round, was actually very good. So that is Bolton having to turn the season round. And they're playing Mansfield, who have been sort of hot and cold, I suppose. They've been playing really, really well. And then they suddenly put in a don't turn up. Lincoln City, for instance, away, losing 4-1. And you think, where did that come from? So you never know what team's going to turn up at Mansfield. And they're away from home. So I'm a little bit worried. Will they turn up? So what are you lot saying? 1-1, 2-1 to Mansfield, 3-1 to Mansfield. Crawley are in 20th, but mostly because of this latest run's been quite dismal for them. But they started off so well and so promising, and they have got a really good front line. If they can use it and get supply there, it could be really good. Will they supply the front line? One or two of you think they will, and they'll get a draw from this. I'm going to go somewhere in the middle, nearer to the top of where you're all thinking, and I'm going to go Crawley 0, Mansfield 3. And I'm going to Leyton Orient Exeter now, and Leyton Orient and Exeter are in 18th and 13th. Now, Exeter started the season really well. I don't think they're playing quite as well recently. I think they played a lot better and a lot more style and more class right at the beginning. It was sort of like they didn't play well against Rotherham, but then all of a sudden they started to find some sort of ability from absolutely nowhere, and they started to play decent football. And they're playing a Leyton Orient team who I think actually have started playing really well. You only have to start looking at certainly the Wrexham game. It didn't look like ever breaking the duck. You look at the statistics and how they were playing. Wrexham weren't able to get into the final third, and Orient were getting to the final third but weren't actually doing anything with it. And I could see it being a 0-0, and it was a 0-0. So it's going to be a difficult one, this one. I don't know if it's going to be high scoring, and most of you don't. I think 1-0, 1-0, 0-0, 0-0. I'm going to go with most of you. I'm sorry, I have to go with a board draw. I had to go Leyton Orient 0, Exeter 0. Northampton Bolton. Northampton is 17th against Bolton in 14th, and Bolton have turned it round. He had to turn it round, and I don't know how he's done it, but all hats off to him, because he has managed to do it. He has managed to turn this his season around. Will he continue away at Northampton? I think he could quite easily do that. 2-0 win away to Crawley. Forget the Arsenal game. 5-0 win, 5-2 win at home to Reading. They suddenly, from losing 4-0 at home to Huddersfield, all of a sudden it was 5-2 win, 2-0 win. No, I'm not going down without a fight. I'm going to make sure I turn this round, and he has done. So Bolton have appeared to start coming out and really playing quite well, whereas Northampton, they're sort of hit and miss. The Huddersfield win 3-1 was totally and utterly against the run of play. But all hats off to them. They managed to pull it off. I just can't see Northampton being able to keep out this new scoring Bolton side. I'm sort of tempted to change what I've said, but I'm not going to change what I said. It's with 0-2, 0-1, 1-3. I'm going to go with Northampton 0, Bolton 1. It could be more than that. They could sneak a draw if Bolton just can't get through the defence, but I don't think it would be. I think it's more likely to be either a 1-0 or a 2-0 win to Bolton, but I'll go 1-0. Shrewsbury versus Stockport next. And obviously Shrewsbury, who were late equaliser against Rotherham. Apart from that, they played pretty dismal. And in the games before, they played pretty dismal. I was surprised they only lost 1-0 to Charlton, because they've not been playing very well at all. They're against a Stockport County side that played excellent football at the beginning, and they were absolutely brilliant, weren't they? They rocketed up the league, and everybody, wow, they're actually going to finish higher than what we think. Shrewsbury 23rd, Stockport 9th. I can't see them. They played really, really well against Barnsley. That second half was absolutely. They turned it round in the second half, and some of the attacking football was just like Barnsley were in the back third constantly. I think Stockport will win, but Shrewsbury have become quite good at just keeping those scores down, and that's what I mean about some of those, like only losing 1-0 to Charlton. They are actually really good in defence. And that's what we were told by some of the Shrewsbury fans before we played them on the internet. So I'm going to go. Well, we got 1-2, 1-3, 0-1, 0-1. I'm going to go with those last few, because they say Shrewsbury 0, Stockport 1. Could they get a late equaliser? Yeah, quite likely. They could very well. I don't think they will, but they might do. Stevenage versus Wrexham next, and Wrexham seem to have been found out a little bit, haven't they? They seem to just have a couple of teams where, after the Birmingham one, okay, I expected Birmingham to run away with it, and they did. Leyton Orient managed to find them out, so perhaps there's a way of five at the back. That's what Leyton Orient did. 5 at the back and just sort of make sure they didn't get past you, and they didn't. But Wrexham did the same, so they both had 5 at the back. So it's like, we're both going defensive, 0-0. So that's one option with this one. And a couple of you have said 0-0. Because if Stevenage put that everything at the back, you could easily see that happening again. But Wrexham can score, but so can Stevenage. Stevenage have been up and down. They change things now and again, and they seem to work. But not always. Exeter defeat away 2-0. Lincoln defeat 1-0 at home. So what have they done away? They've drawn against Wigan away 0-0. Lost to Exeter 2-0. Drawn to Burton 0-0. They're not doing very well away from home, but they're at home, so they are actually stronger at home, Stevenage. So just I can't seem to separate the two, because I'm expecting a better side at home for Stevenage, and I'm expecting them to learn from what happened with Leyton Orient and Wrexham. I'm going to say they're going to learn, because he's quite a nifty tactician, is Stevenage's manager, from his Rotherham days. I'm going to go with Stevenage 1, Wrexham 1. Dropping another 2 points. Wow. Wigan versus Peterborough next. And we go to Wigan versus Peterborough, next to last game. You'll all be happy to hear. Wigan in 16th, Peterborough in 12th. Now, I think Wigan have been getting a lot better. Wigan have been just pushing the boundaries, and they've been getting better and better. Now, I don't think their position as 16th really likens to their performance at the minute. I think their performance is a lot better than that. The Exeter 0-0 was a bit drab, and it looked like being a 0-0 from all the way through when I was watching it on the watch along, which sort of doesn't match up with what I've seen in the games before, which was rather strange. So perhaps if there is any Exeter fans on, perhaps you can give me the reason why we suddenly saw a totally different Exeter side turn up on Saturday. They're playing a Peterborough side who, like we know, 2-0 up against Birmingham, then threw it away to lose 3-2. I can see Peterborough doing well in this. I can see them scoring. An awful lot of people saying a draw. Awful lot. Some are saying, I once said 2-3. Wigan 2, Peterborough 3. I can't. This is another one of those that I can't really separate, because I know that they can both play pretty much good football, similar tactical strengths. I think that I'm gonna have to. I'm just gonna have to go for. I'm gonna have to go for a Wigan 1, Peterborough 1. That means I can't go for a draw with a Reading Burton. And I don't think I would. Reading Burton, the last one. Reading have been. I'm astonished, and I'm really happy for the fans, because what goes on off the pitch tends to ruin what goes on the pitch, and it's what goes on off the pitch that relegates teams. Reading in 15th, Burton in 22nd. Burton looking for their first win. Will they get it? I don't think they will, because I think Reading... I mean, that was a great win, wasn't it? 2-1 at home to Huddersfield. And Huddersfield were wanting to make this... That had to be a win for Huddersfield. Otherwise, they were going to start looking a little bit dilapidated. And, we're not getting the wins we need to. And their side has looked a little bit ropey, so... Reading just made it look even ropier. Before that, though, 5-2. Reading 5-2 away defeat to Bolton, but they had to win. Orient 1-0 defeat at home, but Orient have been starting to do really well. They're just playing teams at the wrong time, aren't they? Tactically great Charlton, they won 2-0 at home. So they have actually got that ability, and they have actually been playing really well. It's just they've been playing the wrong teams at the wrong bloody time. And Burton, well, defeat to Blackpool, defeat to Notts County, defeat to Barnsley, a 2-2 draw away at Rotherham. Both of them played absolutely garbage. Draw to Northampton, draw to Stevenage. If anything, they're getting worse. And this is really sad, but I think What are you all saying? You're saying 2-1, 1-0, 4-2. Blimey, who said that one? 2-1. I'm going to go with the majority there. I think you're probably right. I'm going to go Reading 2, Burton 1. And that is John Esse's Sports Channel for another week. Oh, midweek anyway. Please like and subscribe, and you'll see this prediction video land now. We just had the review of last week's, and watch out for the watch along on Saturday, which will work this time because it didn't. The software didn't connect with with YouTube the last weekend for the 3 o'clock games. Sorry about that. And it's John Esse's Sports Channel signing out. Please like and subscribe.